I'm in Union City, PA today because of this. Oh yeah, here's a hidden story for you. The Timothy Sargent pitchfork tree in Union City, PA. Deep in the middle of the woods. Holy smokes, I can't believe this thing's still standing. This is the daily. 163 years ago, something special happened to this tree, and you won't believe it. This story is a hidden gem. I'm on a dirt road in Union City. This road is called Hungry Run Road. A little back history before I get to this crazy story about this maple tree. And no, it's not an aspen.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
Back in 1862, all this land belonged to the Sargent family. And this is where they hayed, this is where the barns were, this is where their house was. But present day, it's owned by the V.F.W. This is their picnic ground. Pretty cool out here. I didn't even know the V.F.W. had a picnic ground out here. Pretty cool. 2025, my, how things have changed. This story caught my eye like a couple years ago. I just haven't had a chance to come out here. And I thought, that tree's probably gone by now. Sometimes I do stories that are just not so lighthearted or fun. I'd rather do lighthearted stories, but I felt this one needed to be told. But this historical sign tells a crazy tale of the former family who once owned this land. Let me tell you the story before I read the sign to you. It basically tells you what I'm about to tell you, but I'm going to tell you in story form, basically on how this got to be. Here we go. You got to pretend with me here though, because times have changed. It's 2025. The story begins in 1862. Take her to 1862. This would be all farmland. This would be the Sargent farmland. One of the sons, Timothy Sargent, was working the hay that day, and he had a pitchfork in his hand. And a wagon was coming up the road of Union recruits. This wagon was full of Union recruits. Basically, they were recruiting for people to join the Union to get into war. Well, you know about the Civil War and all that stuff back in the 1800s. That's what was going on. The Union was here getting recruits to join the army. And basically, in this vicinity of this area, Timothy Sargent and a bunch of workers were around here. And like a recruiter does, he was amping them up, telling them what's gonna happen. I didn't even realize that was right there. Somebody put a plastic soldier by the tree. And in the story I was reading, basically what I was getting from it is, as these recruiters are talking to these fellas here, basically Timothy Sargent was getting all amped up. He's like, yeah, I'll go serve for my country. I'll go do this. Something he believed in. He was getting all amped up for it. This dude, Timothy Sargent, takes his pitchfork, goes like this to this tree, a 163-year-old maple, takes his pitchfork and pokes it, slams it, smashes it, however you want to say it. He stabbed it into the tree. Hold up, just to be clear, the recruiters were working the Crawford and Erie County area to join the Union Army. They found Tim. Okay, moving on. Tim stood there with that pitchfork slammed into this tree. He told the fellas, however many there were in the story, it doesn't say, but he told the boys he was working with, don't you remove my pitchfork, because I'll be back to go to work. Leave it there. I'll be back. Did you ever do well, I know you guys don't. You watch me on YouTube, or whoever does YouTube that watches me. Have you ever done a story where you get caught up when you're doing the story and you just think about what happened in this area? As further along as I tell the story, it's insane. But yeah, I just got caught up in the moment standing here. And seriously, what happened here is crazy. I will check the tree too when I read the sign for you guys, when I tell you what happened. Now, when you have your brothers involved too, because apparently when the recruiters were coming up the road, they recruited Timothy's brothers, Simeon and John, basically from wherever they come from, left, right, I'm not sure. But when the wagon come up, Tim got recruited. Basically, he had both of his brothers on this wagon. It was a no-brainer for Timothy to jump on the wagon with his two brothers, which makes sense to me. It really does. You got your brothers rooting you on to join the Union Army, fight for freedom. I mean, it all makes sense. Sign says Timothy Sargent enlisted in the Company E 145th Volunteer Regiment. Basically, a volunteer from Erie County with his brothers. This is where the lore of the story comes in. The sad part of the story, which happened here. And honestly, it is heartbreaking. Timothy got wounded during the Battle of the Fredericksburg, but would take part in the Battle of the Wilderness and Spotsylvania and Cold Harbor at Petersburg. Timmy got captured and was sent to Anderson Prison. Then he was sent to the prisoner of war camp in Florence, South Carolina. Sad part about it is Timmy would survive the war camps, but his health wouldn't. Timmy's health failed, as I said, when he was liberated, but he didn't have the strength to basically leave the camp. Timmy was buried in a mass unmarked grave. That's an insane thought to even think about. Timothy's two brothers did make it back from the war. Timmy didn't, obviously, but Timmy's brother did settle down in the area. The story doesn't say where the house was or how far he was from the tree, but Timmy's brother honored his wishes of never taking out the pitchfork of the old maple tree. Basically, for 163 years, a pitchfork sat in here. And the story, I found so many stories online about this, but they say the tines are grown in the tree, and 3, 4, 5 years ago you could see. I have circled around this tree probably 10 times, honestly, to find a tine of Timothy's pitchfork. But in all honesty, I don't believe they're either inside the tree because nobody removed his pitchfork, or somebody, who knows, people get crazy and do stuff, took it out. But they said a couple years ago there was a tine sticking out of the tree. I can't see any. But yeah, 163 years they honored his wish. Don't remove my pitchfork. I'll be back. Basically, in a roundabout way, I told you the story of what the sign says. I mean, freeze frame the video if you want to read the historical sign, but I basically told you the story of what it says. Crazy deal, eh? Honestly, you never know when you're driving on a back dirt road what you're gonna see. And just driving on this road, you wouldn't expect something like this just to pop up. Historical sign near an old maple tree. It's insane. And like I said too, I normally do lighthearted videos, bring fun to my Everyday Monday video, but this time I felt the need to tell Timothy Sargent's story about the 160-year-old pitch. It's got to be grown inside. Yeah, I think the story was like 7, 8 years old. I read about the one pitchfork that you could still see back in the day, but there's nothing. It's gone now. Little hidden gem, way deep in the forest. It's stories like that make you think about everyday life. You're just going about your business, and then you do something, you may never return to that spot in your life again. That's mind-blowing. know one of those days when you wake up and you rush out the door and you forget everything but your GoPro, you forget your mic. So hopefully you can hear me, because I forgot my mic. But I gotta go to work, so I gotta end this video for the week. I hate weeks like this. Wow, Ironworks is rocking today. So those were days.
Those were the days, my friend.
When I visited the Timothy Sargent tree. It's insane to think, 163 year plus that tree's been there. But 163 years ago, that dude stuck that fork in there. It's insane. This is a hidden gem of a story. A lot of people don't know about this story. I knew about it 3-4 years ago. I just never got a chance to go out there. And I honestly thought when I went out there, that tree would be gone. But no, it's still there. It's still there. I won't say it's in good shape, but it's still there. So if you ever get a chance, go out and visit this Timothy Sargent tree. Pretty cool area out there. But I'll see you next week in another crazy video. I gotta go to work. I'll see you next Monday. This is a daily.